Alright, everybody, welcome back. So, yes, you read that right. One of the most popular families of jets in War Thunder, and notably one of the most popular and expensive jets in War Thunder, are getting a massive nerf. So this bug report was actually only passed to devs about 10 days ago, and 2 or 3 days ago the devs came back and said the terminate was going to be corrected for all MiG-23 and 27 series. And if we take a look at how much exactly is going to be changing, it depends on the speed, but in general you can expect to see at least a 20% reduction in turn rate at pretty much every speed, in some cases more. Some are looking at 27, almost 30% difference compared to the current model. That is actually a massive difference in flight performance, because right now the MiG-23s have some very good flight performance for their battle rating of 11.3. Honestly, some of, if not the best flight performance at 11.3. It's so good, in fact, that even in these up tiers like I'm in right here, I don't feel terribly out of place competing with stuff like F-16s, MiG-29s, and the like. Of course, they do have better flight performance than my MiG-23ML that I'm in this case, but it's not by an absolutely insane amount like, you know, say, for example, if I was in a normal Phantom, like the F-4EJ versus an F-16. Also, a 20 to 30% reduction in sustained turn rate also means that it's going to have much more speed bleed overall while it's pulling, while it's doing basically everything else in normal flight as well. We saw this with the F-111. If y'all recall, about 4 months ago now, I covered the F-111 getting a sustained turn rate nerfed, and as part of that, just in general, this flight performance got a whole lot worse, because what they do is they increase the amount of induced drag that the plane is, generating as it's pulling. So this means that not only will the MiG-23 just flat out turn worse in a sustained turn, it's also going to generate a lot more drag while it's turning, and this means that more speed is going to be bled in just basically every situation. And especially since even the early MiG-23s, like the MiG-23M right here, actually outrates stuff like the F-5 at the moment. Once this change goes through, the MiG-23s will almost certainly be outturned by even stuff like the Phantoms. Now, we don't know exactly when this is going to happen. My personal prediction will be sometime in the next week or two. They've been pretty prompt with these, flight model changes as of late. If you recall, the Griffin had a very fast nerf as well. The longest that I could see it taking is possibly with the next patch in June. So, at most, you have about a month left until we get a nerf to the flogger. Gaijin said what had originally happened is they tested it with quote-unquote rockets to begin with. I'm assuming they mean missiles, just because if you didn't know, the word for rocket is the exact same as the word for missile in Russian, and so there's probably just a bad translation going on here. But what they say happened is they tested it originally with missiles on, and then at some point they reduced the amount of drag that the missiles had, and they forgot to compensate the MiG-23's flight model for it. So now they're having to do that, and it is a very large difference. As for how much this will affect it in the meta, that remains to be seen, but it is certainly going to be a lot less effective than it is right now. Now, that's not to say that's going to be bad, of course. It does still have a pretty good kit for 11.3. Same thing for the earlier ones. R60Ms at 11.0 is pretty nice. The 9.7 MiG-23 that I'm playing right now, the MiG-23BN, I am not looking forward to playing that thing once this drops, because the only thing that the MiG-23BN had going for it was having very good flight performance to the battle rating. This thing has no missiles, it has no flares, and once it gets nerfed, that is kind of going to go away. I expect planes like the ML will still do fine, just because the R-24 is such an incredible missile, and the R-60Ms, while they're not amazing for 11.3, they are still good enough, and most of your kills are coming down to missiles anyways. It's just that you will no longer have that easy win of throwing your wings forward and just clapping basically anything you look at, unfortunately. This whole debacle does bring up one thing for me that really bothers me, and it's the fact that this is, this in the case of the MiG-23ML, it's a $70 premium that has been in the game for, over a year now. The MiG-23 family itself is not new at all. I mean, of course, it came out before the F-14 did. The MLD has been out for ages as well, and we're just now getting this caught after they've sold, thousands of MiG-23MLs, and all these people have put tons of money into War Thunder, and now their vehicle is going to have substantially worse performance. Now, of course, I know that everything in War Thunder is subject to change, and there's no guarantee the vehicle is always going to stay like that. It's the same thing with battle ratings and everything else, but this just really puts a sour taste in my mouth, to be honest. Because I don't like the fact that you can spend this much money on the game and then have the plane change this drastically. Especially because this is in no means a new plane. You know, it's not like something like the F-20, for example, which, you know, got added and could have had, you know, incorrect flight performance, which, by the way, it is actually overperforming right now. Gaijin has decided to approximate its flight performance going between the different sources, but you know that's besides the point, right? The MiG-23 has been in the game for a very long time, and they're just now correcting this, which is just a little bit weird to me, and it shouldn't happen in the first place, if you ask me. And I especially don't think they should be touching, you know, $70 pack premiums like this. And in the future, I mean, we're already at $75. We're probably going to get to $80, maybe $90 at some point whenever we have, you know, rank 9 premiums in the future. And if they're doing stuff like this with very, very large purchases, I think you see where I'm going with this. Now, there is one other question that I have a feeling a lot of y'all are going to be asking me. It is, should I buy the MiG-23ML? Because there is almost certainly going to be a sale coming up in the next couple days after I publish this video. My personal opinion is that it is most likely still going to be worth the money. We'll have to see, of course. I would recommend waiting. If you don't desperately need to grind the Soviets right this instant and you can, you know, wait for another sale, then I would go ahead and just wait. If you desperately want the MiG-23 and are trying to grind it out really fast, just make sure you understand, hey, the flight model is going to be changing. What I am purchasing now is not the plane that I'm going to be having in the future as well. I think the aircraft will still be viable, if not amazing like it is right now, just because it's still a very fast aircraft. It'll still have good acceleration, and the kit is really what carries the MiG-23 already. The flight performance is great, but just those R-24Rs are absolutely nuts. The Ts are all right as well, and let's just be honest, you get most of your kills with missiles right now anyways. There's also the fact that if you're just trying to grind the Soviet tree fast, there's not really a better alternative. The SU-39 is pretty good for ground RB, but in terms of an air RB grinder, it's really not all that great. The MiG-21S, of course, is rank 6, which is fine, but it is a flareless 9.7, which isn't amazing. It's not a terrible plane to play, but you just kind of get checkmated whenever someone spawns in with AIM-9Ls or R60Ms. The SU-25K is actually a better choice than the SU-39, but it's still another one of those ones that is really focused for ground RB, and it's kind of mid in air RB. Sure, you get 2 R60Ms, which you can use to just, you know, checkmate flareless aircraft, but it's still not all that amazing. And if there was another plane that I was going to buy if I wanted to grind the tree, it would be the SU-11. But the problem with the SU-11 is that it is, of course, a rank 5 vehicle, not a rank 7 or a rank 8. So basically, if you really, really desperately want to grind the Soviets very fast, probably still go ML. If you can go a little bit slower and you still want to go relatively quickly, buy the SU-11, Talisman or rank 7 vehicle of your choice. I'd probably recommend the SMT. You're golden. Hope y'all have a great day. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll catch y'all next time. So, peace, y'all.